trailblazers. And so they are going to share with you some of their stories, some of what they found when they were training, some of their tips and wisdom. They're just going to share with you how it's done and how they did it. So so I'm going to have everybody sit down first, and then I'm going to start with Debbie Sodergren. So go ahead and stand up. I'm going to introduce the whole panel, and then I'm going to let them each take their turn. So Debbie is the owner of Up Vibrations, LLC, incorporates her training and certifications in energy medicine, modalities of body, mind, and spirit to offer the best blending of tools to give her clients a holistic and empowering approach in managing their wellness. She teaches IP and meditation classes through the adult education facilities on the shoreline where she lives. In addition, Debbie has co-facilitated an empowerment VIP one-day event known as Dancing with the Universe. That's here in Florida. Yes. Today she will be sharing how she found her way to teach infinite possibilities. So this is Debbie Sodergren. And then next we have Tina. So I'm going to introduce Tina now. Tina transitioned out of corporate career into her own spiritual practice. She is a certified transformational coach, intuitive medium, and channels. Tina loves helping people discover their soul's intentions, revealing a life path that feels right, their very own sweet spot. Tina is delighted to add IP Trailblazer to her bio. Today she takes us on her journey through fear and blazing a trail with friends and family. So everyone, this is Tina Provenzano. Yes, he's tall. I'm sorry, from right in the middle. Michael Stover is an empath who was IP certified in San Diego last March and became a trailblazer in June. We were fortunate to have his music industry experience to help us last year when he served on the Chicago tech team, and then last August. And he just recently went on a ton adventure. You are trying to find your scavenger hunt person, but he went to Panama with Mike and Andy and the Tut Adventurers Club in September. Michael will be sharing tips and insights with us regarding his love-inspired trailblazer journey. So please give a hand for Michael Stern. And next we have Deb Richmond. She was a teacher for 17 and a half years teaching elementary school children. And got certified in yoga, meditation, Reiki, spiritual life coaching, and infinite possibilities. She also volunteers as a spiritual listener and speaker at a halfway home for men who are recovering from drugs and alcohol, and teaches yoga, meditation, and spiritual topics to women who are in jail. And actually, Deb and Tina were certified just at the last conference in Chicago and are now trailblazers already. They were two of the first from that conference. So please welcome Deb Richmond. And then we have Leslie Williams. Leslie is a licensed massage therapist with 20 years experience, and she's also an ordained minister here in Florida. She integrates IP constantly within her practice, with the unique approach to wellness and believing that laughter is spiritual healing. Massage and the message of infinite possibilities, they have become a vocation. It is much more a ministry than just a job. Leslie also brings her quirky, also known as British, sense of humor to each healing session. You're gonna love her accent. Everybody, this is Leslie Williams. To the panel for you to enjoy and hear what they have to share with you. Deb, you're up.
Gina. Hello, everyone. All right, let's get this going. I'd like to take this minute to say thank you to Mike and the team for inviting me to come up and share with you guys. How many of you know when you leave here that you are going to train this, you're going to get your trailblazer status, you know how you're going to do it? Raise your hands. All right? Good to know. How many of you you're excited about it, you feel like you found your tribe, but you're not quite sure how you're going to go about it, you still got to do a little more research on it? Raise your hands. Okay, I see you guys. And how many of you feel like you landed on another planet, but you understand the language, and you really like it, and you're just enjoying it and going with it? All right, wonderful. So I was in the number 2 group. I knew that I was going to do this, and I could feel it, but I didn't know how. So what I did was I networked like crazy while I was here. To anybody that was a trailblazer in front of me, I would talk to them, find out where they're from. I would ask them questions about how they teach it. I would ask them anything that came to my mind. And then I would try to get them to put their information in my book. Their name, their phone number. I didn't have business cards when I went to Denver to get trained. So there was another ippy there that said, oh, we've got to fix this. She happened to have business cards with her, went to the business center, and we made up my name and my phone number on 50 business cards. And I was able to hand those out, and when I was done handing them out, I would just put my name and phone number in somebody's book. Oh, here, you might have to remember me because I'm going to contact you. So that's what I ended up doing to network. The other thing I did, and I'm going to highly recommend that you guys do, is buy product in the back of the room. I knew I wanted to be a trailblazer, so I immediately bought 6 books. 6 workbooks that I knew I wouldn't have to call in order and think about when I was going to get them, if they were going to get there in time. I just bought them while I was here. So that's my second thing that I want to recommend. The other thing is purchase things from the back of the room and think about how you want to do it. For me, I did a lot of thinking, nothing was coming to me. When I was done with this event and I was on the airplane ride back home, it came to me. I decided I was going to go home and talk to my pastor, because who better than a church group of people who already know me would want to possibly sign up to take a class. So I thought that's what I was going to do. So I took my book, I called my pastor, I made an appointment, I went in, I belonged to a congregational church, and I went in there and met with her. She loved the material. And she was on board. She said, yeah, let's do this. Let's get it in the bulletin. I sent out emails to my friends, family, loved ones. And the next thing I knew, people were signing up. And then I thought, that little line chatter started going, oh crap, they're really signing up. I really got to do this. So the next key I'm going to give to you is get on the Facebook page. Like it, become a part of it, ask your questions. I was blown away at the support from all the other trainers ahead of me who said, hey, go to the resource button, get this letter, go to the resource button, download this PowerPoint. Whatever I asked for, there was somebody there that was going to give me the resources and help guide me with it. The only thing I can say about that is make it your own. You have to put you into it in order to get your message across. People aren't going to get it if you're up there trying to teach somebody else's words. You're not going to be connected to it. So definitely make it yours. I like to bring a lot of fun in it. I keep my classes to 4 classes, 2 hours each class. And the reason I do that is we all have families, we all have life. And in order to get the certification when they take the class, they have to finish 6 hours. So I like to do 8 hours. So if somebody misses a class, they'll still get their certification, and then also go over the material with them that they missed. I think that's pretty fair. So my first group was 12 people. I sold it out. That's as much as the room would hold. And I taught that class. Everyone loved it. My next class was 6 people, all at the church. After that, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go out and teach meditation at Adult Ed. Went onto the website, found a letter, made it my words, sent it as an email attachment, and before I knew it, got an email back that said, yeah, we would love to have the program here. Who knew? So I knew that I was going to teach it in adult ed. Still wasn't quite sure if people were going to sign up for it. People would pay me to help them learn these things. 2 weeks later, I got a card in the mail, no return address. Went out the mailbox, looked at it, didn't know who it was from, opened it up. It was a card from one of my students from church. Said the information that she had was life-changing. And she also put a $100 bill in there. And she said she felt there was value in it. And she wanted to support me with continuing to teach it. And that just touched my heart. So you never know what's going to happen as you put the information out there. And just trust that you will reach the people that you're supposed to reach. The other recommendation I have for you is do a review. So on your 4th class, when it's ending and wrapping up, you hand out a review, 4 simple questions. And then take that information and treasure it. You're going to have some comments on there that are going to be, you were amazing, I loved this, this, and this. And then you're also going to get some things on there that are going to say, well, I think this could have been done better. Take that constructive criticism as a gift, because that's exactly what it is. You're just developing and honing your skills. So go with that information as a blessing. I think that's really important to do that, to have those reviews. Oh, I love the Alka-Seltzer. I use that in my classes. My co-person who does my retreats with me, Jacqueline Wade, we also do it with our retreat, and we also do vision boards. I do them in classes, and we do them on the retreats. And everybody loves them because they're fun and they're engaging.
It's under the files tab.
Oh, this is fun. Okay. Well, we don't have them here, but you get Alka-Seltzers. And when you're teaching the limiting beliefs portion of the book, you have them write with a pencil or pen on the Alka-Seltzer their limiting belief. Okay? You have a bowl of water. So you tell them to really hold that Alka-Seltzer in their hand and read that to themselves. Really read it to themselves. And as you go around the room, you ask them to drop it into the water. And as they drop it in the water, you instruct them beforehand to watch it. And as the Alka-Seltzer is dropped in the water, it dissipates. And all those little effervescents go upward. And I use that as an analogy that that limiting belief that you wrote on there, you've now released it. It's gone. And help them to move forward with that kind of exercise. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's really powerful when you do it. If you are having an aha moment and you're liking that here, write it down. Because it is very, very powerful when you're doing it with your students. The other thing I like to do is on Facebook, there's some, not Facebook, on YouTube, there's some really good examples of different little video clips. I have one in one of my chapters, Jim Carrey puts out on limiting beliefs. I think it's like a 4 or 5 minute video, and I plug that in there. So I think it's really important to use a lot of different techniques in your teaching, because we're all just different learners. So that's what I have to share with you.
Actually practices conscious breathing. Yeah, ooh, that's me too. Breath is life force, right? And whenever we're stressed, just a few conscious breaths can really help us bring our thoughts, feelings, and actions into alignment. I did a lot of conscious breathing throughout the process of becoming a trailblazer. I love it. About 7 years ago, bought Infinite Possibilities, and after seeing The Secret, and I totally and secretly fell in love with Mike Dooley. On the heels of that, I went to a 2-year life coaching program, and together these two things actually changed my life. Very grateful. I recently left a corporate career and started my own spiritual practice. I was really excited about this. And I eagerly anticipated what was going to show up next. Well, when nothing showed up, anticipation turned to desperation. And I said, please, universe, send me a sign, send me some clients, or you're going to really need to send me some chocolate. Later that night, I was online, reading my book from the universe, and I didn't realize that my life was about to change in a really big way. Bam! Up popped Train the Trainer Chicago, and I knew that it was exactly what I had asked for. TTT Chicago breathed new life back into my being. Really did. And I asked myself a question that I believe many of you will ask yourself before you leave here this weekend. What do I need to do to become a trailblazer? And for me, the answer was act as if. Act as if it's inevitable, and then take action. So the first thing I did was I signed up for Trailblazer Mastermind. This class was awesome, and it was instrumental in helping me learn how to craft and develop my classes. The Mastermind class actually gave me the tools and the confidence that I needed in order to succeed. The second thing I did is I also purchased 8 IP workbooks from the back of the room, because I believe that if I had those workbooks staring me in the face, it would be a constant reminder to set up that Trailblazer class. And the third thing I did was I signed up for private coaching with Andy. And I purchased Vibration Activation. I love working with Andy. He helped me identify some really limiting beliefs and has also supported me and kept me on track for what I want to achieve. One of the things being here right now. I was really riding high on that hippie wave, and it felt great. Actually, when I saw the Trailblazer panel speak in Chicago, I thought, I want to do that. I want to be up there. And so I applied when the invitation came out, and then I just let it go. When I got home, I decided that I was going to set up my Trailblazer class right away. And I made the decision that my family was going to be my first victims. It was good, good. I thought that that would work really, really well. And parts of it did. I set it up for 5 classes, 2 hours each. And we ended up I ended up realizing that 3 classes at about 2.5 hours would probably work better. Next, I set up my first IP coaching client one-on-one. I love teaching IP one-on-one. And my client really had some life-changing experiences through it. It was awesome. And we set it up for 8 one-hour sessions, and we actually went for 9. I incorporated vibration activation into both of those programs. It was a huge hit and great fit. Then, currently what I'm doing is setting up an online class with former colleagues from my corporate career. And my friend and fellow trailblazer, Diana, and I are now discussing having an IP retreat in Sedona. So we're very excited about that. And pumped and riding up this train, right, someone? For those of you thinking about working with family, it was extremely exciting and a little bit terrifying. You know, they all showed up to support, but they weren't naturally drawn to this material. Well, the first class, I was shaking in my boots. But you know what? It turned out really awesome. They really identified with messages, and we had a lot of fun. It was great. So when I went into session 2, beliefs, I was riding high. This is going to be great. And it was. It started off awesome. And then it took a terrifying turn. My sister announced that she completely trusted that everything would work out for her. And my niece, her daughter, looked at her and said, "Are you kidding me? Something happens in your life, you become terrified and do nothing. That's not trust." And my eyes got this big, and my sister got completely defensive. And when I tried to intervene, my niece turned on me. She said, "Aunt Tina, you know what I'm saying is true." Oh boy. So I called for a break. I gave them all cookies. And did a lot of conscious breathing. I'm really happy to say that the rest of the class was awesome. Through halfway through the class, they were shouting Andy's, "You totally got this, you rock!" It was great, we had a good time. And at the end, by the last class, my sister totally got this. She saw that limiting belief. And it was a great reminder that the people that we bring this to will see the beliefs in their own time. So it's great. Right before my last Trailblazer class, I received an email saying that I was chosen to present on this Trailblazer panel. I was elated for about 2.5 seconds. And I said, "Oh crap, I can't do this." A little voice said, "Yes, you can." So the next email I opened was from Mike, and it said, "Actionable, fellow presenter," and then went on to talk about sharing the stage. I was like, "Sharing the stage with Mike too? Woohoo!" Oh, shit, no. I shut here and did conscious breathing until I hyperventilated. An entire bottle of essential oils over my head. It was good. Well, because I teach what I most need to learn, I realized I was going into this experience filled with fear. And I didn't want to do that. I am terrified at the thought of presenting. And so I wanted my experience this time to be different. So I said, how can I be of service to my fellow hippies? How can I change this experience for me so that others know that they can also change that? So I went to what works. I went to IP and vibration activation. I became conscious of my thoughts. I checked my limiting beliefs. I allowed myself to feel my emotions. I did stop, cancel, clear, get that fear out of here. Not. And I visualized myself up on this stage having fun. I shifted my focus to having fun. I danced. I laughed. I breathed a lot. And you know what? The fear went away. I'm nervous, and I'm here, but I'm but I'm doing it, and you can all do it too. Don't let the fear stop you. We don't need to feel that fear and do it anyway. We don't need to put on our big girl panties and deal. There's a better way. We can love ourselves through it and give ourselves that unconditional love that we deserve. One of the other things I did was I tapped into all that baby love I felt in Chicago. And that's the same love that's right here now in Orlando. And remember that every moment we have a choice. We can focus on love or fear, fun or fear. Focus on the fun. And now I have a new mantra. It's feel the fun and do it anyway. Feel the fun and do it anyway.
That was so good. Tina was one of the first people that I met with the movies who came to Chicago. That was exciting for me. And I knew that she was something special. We just discovered. So, who besides me here is glad to be here today? All right, let's ask you to remove it. That's great. Well, yeah. This is the greatest sense of deja vu that I've ever had. My God. I was out there in San Diego myself, and I was looking at the Trailblazer panel. I was looking up there, and I thought, you know, if this IT stuff really works, it's going to be me up there telling how IT changed my life forever. And what do you know? Now, it's me, and I'm up here, but I'm going to tell you just 3 things. My thoughts leading to the decision to become a trailblazer, the process of becoming a trailblazer, and then the things that manifested as the result of becoming a trailblazer. So I'll start with a lot of you guys, probably, with the notes from the universe. I started getting them about a year ago, right? And within a couple of months, I found myself sitting on the couch with my wife Monique, pleading to fit the expenses for this 4-day event in San Diego in our modest budget. And I sat there on the couch. I mean, literally, I had tears in my eyes. And said, you know, baby, I really can't tell you what's going to happen in San Diego. I can't explain it, but I know that it's going to change your life and my life for the better, forever. And we are both so very glad that we did. A little off track, but she read the book, and she just recently got a new job with a big raise that cut 2 hours off of her commute every day. So I found myself in San Diego, and I was there like you, so full of hope and joy and love, and surrounded by the supportive people. And it was awesome, but it was also very overwhelming. You know, for a lot of us, we share it. We just get overwhelmed. We feel like deers caught in the headlights of love. It's just, but even so, I worked through this, and I overcame my hesitance, and I went from a willingness to explore feeling that you have that, oh my God, this is just kind of, this is too much, my head's going to explode. I don't know if that's a good thing. It's going to be a big mess. But it is a natural, it's an expected part of the process that we share with you. And I want to let you know that, as Mike says, and as a lot of people have shared in their own way, that it is a sign that you are in the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing, with the right people, for the right reasons. So, you might say, that's all fine and dandy, Mike. That sounds great. But you know, I've been to these kind of things before, and there's thousands of these, and you get the warm and fuzzies, and then they fade over time. And part of me thinks it's just too good to be true. Fair enough. That's what I thought too. So I went home, and it's an important question. So I thought about this question for a long time, and it came to me. The question really is, to what extent are these epiphanies going to stay with me and become a positive, permanent part of my life? And the answer is, I told myself, that the degree to which these are going to stay with me and become an integral part of me will be determined by the extent to which I embrace and internalize and reinforce this stuff. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right? So I thought, I know, I'll do something completely normal. I'll become a trailblazer. And just in case all this manifestation stuff really is true, let me take my wish list and I'll just throw it out there. Just for last. Let me think. What do I want? Oh gosh, the budget's been tight. That's what I thought at the time. I would really love to travel. I would really try to. I used to travel a lot. Oh my God, it just makes me feel alive. I want to do that. Really important to me too, of course. So let me just elevate all my relationships. And music means so much to me. And I want to upgrade my dance situation. And I've always been afraid, not only of public speaking, but of singing. I'd like to develop a good singing voice. And just further before we're at it, how about a great day job? The big bump in pay. Or whatever, right? Okay. So those are the thoughts. Those are the thoughts that led up to the decision. Here's the come part. I was scared. I was really, really excited and scared. But I talked to a friend of mine, Jenny, who was not at this concert. She's not in this event, but she is in the spirit. And she told me what Mike and a lot of other people have told me in their own way, and that is, you're never 100% prepared, and if you wait for that, you're not going to do it, so just do it anyway. So I did. And my amazing, loving, supportive wife offered to be my guinea pig, my beta student. And by going through the program with her, I was able to test drive it, get rid of my nerves, purge all the typos, the bad links, the weaker material. This gave me the confidence to book another class, someone I wasn't related to. And in this class, it was amazing. And it really had the effect of reinforcing my suspicion that the human race might be ready to replace the misconceptions and the guilt and the manipulation and the things that we have been fed to just jettison that whole package and embrace the truth our power. Right? So now, I'm feeling pretty good. So this stuff is, it's okay. I can do it. So 5-person, 1-day boot camp. It's like, yeah, let's get into the boot camp, you know. And it was amazing. But this is not supposed to be in my speech, but words are wise. If you have wine and cheese, more cheese, less wine. Enthusiastic British student who said, "Oh, this is manifestation science. This is fantastic. The Russian producers so built for you right here." And so I had to learn to overcome problem students. And there was talked about that this morning. But it was amazing, and I know that I learned as much from them as they did from me. So boom! And then I'm a trailblazer. It's that simple. Oh, sort of. I had my trials and my self-trials, and sometimes I go back in my old ways of thinking. So I came up with like 18 pages of notes, suggestions, and tips for you. I've got them right now. Just kidding. The Cliff Notes version is something like this. And what these ladies up here have said and will say are a lot of it overlapped because it's true. But this is my personal list, and that is find joy in the present. Find joy in the present because it is what will give you the clarity to find your higher self, and it will be the fuel that will keep you going. Keep it fun. If it doesn't turn you on, don't do it. Don't be afraid to leverage other people's material. The other hippies I found are more than glad to share their best stuff with you. Think big, and take baby steps daily. Learn how, for me this is important because although I'm very emotional, I'm also very left-brain, analytical. So it was important for me to learn that the scientific and spiritual aspects of IP are perfectly consistent. And you are in for a treat tomorrow on the stage with David Cassidy. I just want to explain that to you. In advance, I'd like you to give him a hand. Let's see. What else? Thanks to my friend Jonathan Benjamin, I discovered the magic of being a word sniper, and I use that all the time. This guy purge negative vocabulary from your whole being. Don't even go there at all. Also discovered the magic of forgiveness. Michelle Jeffrey, who also is not here, can tell you about that. She changed my life in 1 hour. 1 hour. I can tell you about that. Hit me up. What else? Of course, Toastmasters. And don't overthink this one. Just go to one meeting. Okay? Okay, will you guys consider that? Yes. It's good stuff. But most of all, you're never 100% ready. Do it anyway. Okay? Well, here's the really, really fun part. I'm going to wrap it up. The things that thoughts became. See, we're taught that you have to, well, in other words, that appreciating what you have is more important than getting what you want. So appreciation is more important than ambition. But IP teaches us that what makes you happy will appear in the long run. And that staying joyful in the present is what is going to connect you with your source energy. Right? Yeah. 3 of them, all expenses paid, including a trip to Chicago to be on the IPI team in Chicago at that time, and a trip to Panama, to the place of my birth, to be with Mike and Andy and the Tuts Adventurers Club. An unexpected 180-degree turnaround of my relationship with my ex-wife, turning a nemesis into a friend, meeting 2, not 1 but 2 new best friends who are also very spiritually enlightened. They asked me to join their band and taught me how to sing. And here's the best part. There's a title in the book. I don't work at any job. I got a new job in Hollywood in the movie business, making twice my salary. So I gently but emphatically invite you to embrace your destiny by taking the baby step of becoming a trailblazer and letting and you guys know this, so you have to say it with me, thoughts become things.
Wow, that's a problem, that.
You got it! You got it!
I've been moving too much. I'm losing my voice here. So my story starts just 6 months ago. I was sitting in my living room. I was journaling. I was journaling about what I wanted to do next in my life. As Regina mentioned, I had been a teacher for 17 and a half years. I retired from that. I got trained as a yoga instructor, a meditation teacher, and a spiritual life coach. I was doing okay. I was teaching classes and workshops, and I was enjoying what I was doing, but I had a feeling that something was missing, and I knew there was more. I felt an urge to get more training. As I pondered this, I decided to check my emails. And my daily note from the universe popped up, thank you, Mike. And I happened to scroll down, which I actually had never done before, and I didn't realize that there's things I read those messages. And I noticed that Mike was teaching an IEP conference in Chicago in a few weeks. My heart started to beat. My inner knowing was going off the chart. So I did what I always do when I have a big decision to make. I closed my eyes and I started with a prayer. And I asked if this is the right thing for me to do at this time. And then I quieted myself and went into a meditation to hear my answer. Suddenly I got distracted by a loud sound that was coming outside my window. I opened my eyes and there was a woodpecker pecking on my deck door. We live in a neighborhood with like little to no trees, so this is a quite unusual thing for me. So I knew this was my sign from the universe. And we all know what that means, right, woodpecker? When an opportunity is knocking, answer the door, right? So I decided to go, and I was incredibly nervous all the way to Chicago. I typically don't try new things alone, so this was a huge step for me. And as I entered that social gathering, I was shaking and not breathing. Yoga teacher, right? After 3 minutes, I met some very inspiring people, back row, right there, and I knew I was in the right place. I felt so comfortable and so welcome by everyone.
I soon realized I had found my people. I'm sure you guys do too. I had so many ahas and I made so many shifts in such a short amount of time. When I returned home, my husband likened it to when we used to send our boys to camp when they were young, and they got home and they were like this totally new person. I was a new person. I was more confident. I was happier. I was more secure. I learned a lot at the conference, and what really stuck with me is Regina's speech about learning that we all have a message to share. I found out there's going to be people out there looking for my message. I didn't really get that at first. I thought, why would anyone want to listen to me when they have Mike or Regina with all their experience? The last day it clicked. After I presented my 4-minute talk to my group, I told them about my journey from religion to spirituality. I explained that for most of my life, I didn't feel worthy or loved by God. And I held a lot of guilt and shame because I was pregnant at the age of 16 and had my oldest son. I had never put my story in words like that before. It felt so freeing and healing. And at that moment, I understood and I knew that my story could help others and possibly heal them as well. With that, I left the conference confidently knowing that I had a message and that people would be looking for me. When I got home, I was truly electrified. You guys know what I'm talking about when you get home. I felt like I'd been plugged with electricity. My vibration was flying high. I met with my friends for tea and coffee and told them about what I learned, and they all wanted to know what I was taking. I met with teachers who previously been my teachers in the past, and they wanted to possibly take one of my classes. An example of this is one day I went to the psychic fair, and I had my aura read. And the reader said to me, "Have you been trained in something new lately?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Does it have to do with the law of attraction?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How do you know this, right?" And he's like, closed his eyes, and he opened them, and he goes, "This is going to be huge for you. Let me know when you teach a class. I'd like to take it." Interesting enough, this man also teaches about the law of attraction, and I took his class just 1 year ago. So my life was starting to shift in amazing ways. I jumped right in to getting a group together. I sent a Facebook message to my friends, and who I thought would enjoy the class, and I could just practice with them. And I offered it for free, actually. And my response was bigger than I expected. So I split the group into two, and had 2 groups right off the bat. What I found was, people are ready for this. They're ready and bursting to come out of the spiritual closet, so to speak. They're eager to learn more about themselves and to make these changes for the better. So I urge you to jump right in as soon as you get home. Don't let doubt creep in. You're going to realize, like I did, that people are ready. I can't say enough about the program. I mean, I truly love this program. I'm just saying, you give a teacher a manual and a workbook, it's like a dream come true. Experiences, your stories, you're going to really cultivate them into your teaching, and you're going to make it even more impactful for the people who are drawn to you. The program is so easy to teach, and it inspired people beyond anything that I ever imagined. I had been teaching workshops on similar topics before I learned IP, and nothing was as powerful as this. It's truly magical. It's like the spreading pixie dust all over. I get messages all the time telling me how their lives have been, my just because life has been changing. I get texts, I get emails, I'm feeling quite famous actually. I'm feeling so grateful to be a part of something so important. After I did those initial practice groups, I got a little cold feet. I didn't know how I was going to reach other people, and I didn't really know how I was going to charge them. I needed to take some action, and as Mike puts it, I needed to put up my sail so the universe could sail my boat, right? So I got the courage one morning, and I woke up on a Saturday morning with all this energy, and I Facebooked 20 people, and I asked them if they wanted to take the class at my home, or if they hosted at their house and found 5 friends, they could take it for free. I heard from 10, and out of the 10, 2 wanted to come to my house at that time, and the 8 wanted to host in their house and find 5 or more friends. So if you're, so my potential 8 just grew to 40 or more. Yeah, so I mean, I got this idea from one of my yoga friends who wanted to take the class, and she just said she couldn't afford it, so she came up with that. So I can't wait to see what happens when I message 20 more people. I'd like to also share a few more stories with you. And I'm getting the 1-minute warning, so I'm not going to share a few more. All right, let me share my favorite story. It's really fast. Okay. This is taken off from me. I've been getting so many opportunities from 20-year-olds in the coffee shop asking me to teach her, to I went to a dinner party, and the host asked me what I've been up to, and then he wants me to teach him his men at his Bible study. And then lastly, I called this new holistic and alternative center that's 10 miles away from my house. And I ended up telling her about IP, and I was calling to make an appointment, and I ended up telling her about IP, and she said, "You're not going to believe this." I'm like, "Well, yeah, okay, well, okay, bring it on, right?" And she said, "Well, I was going to my son's hockey tournament last weekend, and it was a long drive, and I was by myself. So what do I pull out? My Mike Julie Infinite Possibilities CD." And I'm like, "Cool," and she's like, "Yeah," and then all the way there, I listened to it, and when I got there, they were giving away this trip to Mexico. And so I did everything I learned in the car. I visualized my husband and I lying on the beach with our margaritas, and she won the trip. So that was great. She asked me if I wanted to come in and talk to her and partner with her at her center to teach the IP in her center. So it's taken off beyond anything that I ever imagined. And I just want to end with, I get teared up when I do this, so I'm going to try to do it. A little note from one of my participants, my first participants. She wrote, "Deb, I want to thank you for the amazing class that you taught. It has opened me up to the possibility of so much more in life. I've never felt so alive. And I want to thank you for sharing your personal story with us. By sharing your story, it has allowed us to come to grips with our own struggles and heal. You are a genuine, beautiful soul. I'm blessed to know you. Keep your light bright and keep shining it on the world. If you affect one being like me, you have succeeded." The universe is calling. Are you going to answer the call?
All of that, Alrighty then. I learned this, at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, one passes an invisible boundary and meets with a success unexpected in common hours. Henry David Thoreau. So there comes a time in your life when you stop trying to please dead people. And I'll explain that in a minute. 20 or so years ago, I had a meditative vision. I was on stage speaking to hundreds of people. And my life at that time did not dictate, because I was still living in England, that this could ever happen. Well, thoughts become things, baby. In June 2012, I was at the second training here in Orlando, and I was listening to the panel of speakers, and I thought, oh, next time it's going to be me up there, and I got really excited. And 6 months later was Seattle, and I wasn't there. And I wasn't a trailblazer. And after that was Denver, I was there. Was I a trailblazer? No. But I thought, yet again, next time it's going to be me up there. And the next 4 conferences went by. There was Boston, and London, San Diego, and Chicago. I wasn't there. And was I a trailblazer? And now it's 2014, August of 2014, I've done nothing. Nothing! Honestly, my journey to trailblazer took a little bit of time. Now some of you are going to go out straight away tomorrow or one day and teach trailblazer class. Oh, great, that's wonderful. Some of you will wait, like I did. And some of you won't want to teach at all, and that's okay. But all of you will be changed by this weekend, because it's too powerful not to be affected by it. Because as EPs, we are a collective energy. We co-inspire with the universe, and we become ambassadors, sharing a sacred message. I really did want to be a trailblazer. Honest, I did. Firstly, because it's the only way I could be up here. And secondly, because it gave me some credence in trailblazing a new part of myself and for others. But I allowed fear to stop me. It was like my terror of heights. I couldn't look at where it might take me, and I had no idea how to enjoy the journey. I first needed to recognize that I was already living and teaching the principles of IP. I was being my warm-up. I had a trapped audience within my massage therapy practice. True? True? A conversation would start, and I would chime in about gratitude and a new way of looking at things. We would talk about thoughts becoming things, and the cursed house. And there was fun to see and wake up. Oh man, new thoughts, new things. Next, I really did strengthen my communication skills. I took public speaking classes. I spoke at churches. This past July, I was a guest speaker at Possibilities in Paradise, which is an event in Key West. I did an intro talk about IP at my spiritual home, and I made half-hearted promises that, yeah, I'm going to teach a class in the future. That was scared to death of teaching a class. But I have a champion in Regina. She is my hero. And I was included on 2 of the women's retreats, which also included coaching. And she encouraged me to get out there and teach. But I had all kinds of excuses. I'm not good enough. I don't know the material well enough. And no one will come. So imagine a hopeful little girl excitedly awaiting her friends. Yeah, that was me on my 6th birthday party. While in England, in February, it can snow a lot. And I lived in the middle of nowhere. And guess what? It was raining. So I carried that hurt and bewilderment for way too long. I was absolutely devastated with it, I had no idea. But eventually I realized, now that I've been doing prep work for teaching infinite possibilities for a long time. After I do this class, I'll be ready. After I do this talk, I'll be ready. Get the certification under my belt, then I'll be ready. And it goes on and on. And this is where pleasing dead people comes in. I was still trying to prove to my family that I had a voice, that I was worthy. I felt that I hadn't fulfilled their dreams for me, and I didn't know how to fulfill my own. And then I heard a story from another hippie. She had also had herself in training, and finally she had to stop and say, just do it. Like a moment, deep breath. Okay, I will, because I'm ready. Not. But I announced to the hippie world, I'm going to teach IP in November, because thoughts become things, right? As it turned out, offered a class this past September with Regina and Gretchen, and it's to help people get to trailblazer status. And it all began to fall into place. I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. All the information I needed was in the workbook and the presenter's guide. And there is a lot of information out there on the website and the Facebook page. There is tons of it. But I wanted to find my own groove. And thankfully Mike allows and encourages everyone to present the material in their own unique way. This program is so fully customizable. Oh, what a relief it is relaxing. So that was awesome. So I prepped my class. I chose to do a one-day clay shop, maybe to get it done, and the agony would be prolonged if it bombed. Well, it didn't bomb. I was cautious. You can tell I'm a cautious person. And although I advertised at a wellness centre, the universe wisely sent me 8 women who I knew very well, and with whom I felt safe. I knew that they would be honest with their feedback, and I wanted the play shop to be fun, interactive, and innovative. So the most revealing exercise we did was created from the group each writing a vision of how their lives would look in 1 year's time. I asked them to prepare this before the class and be really, really detailed. In class, I paired them up, asked them both to turn in a circle like Wonder Woman, and to explain to the person they were with, oh my God, I haven't seen you in ages. You would not believe how my life has changed this year. And then proceed to tell the tale of dreams coming true, what they had achieved by stepping into their dreams, and how it had altered their lives. How much joy and fun they were having, the travel, the abundance, the prosperity, the sparkling health, the improved relationships, and the juicy lives. Each person shared, and it was amazing to see how their energy changed. Suddenly they were excited and could really see the infinite possibilities of dreaming and creating a life they loved. Later on they paired up again, turned in their circle, and this time asked each other what action they'd taken. What was the kicker? What did they put into place? Again, this was very energizing, and the ladies were hugely aware that what they were projecting could indeed birth into something very real and tangible. And I've been checking in with the group regularly. Most of them are stepping into their dreams and beginning to create from where they are with what they have. You see, everything is created twice. First, it has to be a thought, then it begins to take form. This dress, once a thought, and then woven into a garment which fits. Everything is created twice. First it has to be a thought, then it becomes a thing. Does that sound familiar? The one thing that helped me step into becoming a trailblazer was to change the phrase teaching IP into sharing IP instead. For me it was a lot less intimidating. My school days were great. And my reports usually said something like, if Leslie would stop talking so much and being a disruption, we should do much better. So I will be sharing the Possibilities series at Unity of Mount Island here in Florida in the spring. And there is an idea that I will collaborate with another trainer and take it into the hospital that we're associated with. This is Hippie Land, a collective consciousness, a place of dreams and thoughts becoming things. So let's choose the good ones. And P.S. As for the dead people, thank you for your wisdom and faith. but the universe and me, we got this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Trailblazer panel.